strikes again. Kevy, he's done it one more time.
The Chaos Storm! Claire jumps in with the Grand Slam! But in a three-man Moonfall, it's just lights out for Direwolves, just like that.
The showstopper. Look at the backline. It's getting melted.
Do something right now. Sonic Wave is there. It's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron. He's going to fall on down. It's just too much damage. Rest in peace.
Who am I? I'm Mammoth. You guys knew it. Now look, welcome. It's LCO, week 7, day 2. We got a bunch of games and we got 4 teams locked in for playoffs. So now it's pretty much a battle for that 5th position. We still don't know where they're going to be sitting on the ladder. But look, we had a whole lot of fun yesterday and there's more fun to have today. As well as it being International Women's Day. So look, go and show your love to all the women out there. Show them respect. Give them a big hug. Maybe not a kiss. That's probably too far. But look, we've got to jump on into today. So let's have a refresher of what happened yesterday.
What happens when you have no tenacity? The root goes out. The Solar Flare is there. He's dead. It's a shutdown. Kissing's back in the mix. As can they answer back? They certainly can. Pickup finds a shutdown, but not before Kevy gets another kill. 4-1 and 2. Down goes the Requiem, but nobody survives. Where you going? Depth Charge knocks up 2. Ray's flirting with it. Low on mana. Needs that presence of mind reset. Has to switch the minigun. Sidesteps the Brom Q. Finds the kill to Voice. Nice lands for Spite. That's what he's telling them. As he walks in, he gets a cheeky heal and he gets himself a double kill. Give us a triple kill. Sayonara. As we run back into this one, into the mid lane we go. Lemus is dead. Frost has had his number all game long as this Lucian, and he has not been afforded any kind of luxury this time around. A flash kick, that's Insect, that's a triple. Tien eats some oranges, and he is A-OK. The Dragon is held suspension, finally Balkan jumps in, they claim it, they get it. 2 members go berserk! Praetor just killed his own team! Praetor just double killed his own.
A great day of games, but a whole bunch of expected results as we bring in Menulog Mealtime for yet another day. And we'll bring in the casters as well. Why not? Because we love the boys here on the desk. Look, Skimmy, Rusty, how you feeling? Skimmy, we were supposed to dress orange. You missed the memo? What's going on?
I rocked the hair color instead, mate, so that's my free out in these occasions. There you go.
There you go. Now, look, you guys in chat, you want to win a $30 voucher for Menulog. Menu Pogs in the chat, pretty please. Some love hearts as well, mostly for me, a little bit for Rusty, and then type 1 if you like Skimmy. But look, that's it for now. That's going to be drawn very soon. You have to be in Australia if you want to win, and use the voucher, of course. But look, we got to get down to the brass tacks here. It's dinner time, and it's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. So, what are we ordering for dinner? We got $30 to spend. We got to, I'll give you a little more. You can go to 40 if you want to buy a family feast or something. Skimmy, what do you eat?
You know what's really grinding my gears since moving to Australia is I can't find a good place to get fish and chips.
Oh, you're joking.
Have you
honestly,
left Western
no,
Sydney?
You're
have you
joking,
left Western
no,
Sydney?
No.
Did you know we have beaches?
No, bro. Tell me where I can go to get anywhere near the equivalent of what I find back home in New Zealand. It's disgusting. So look, I would probably, if you've given me $30, we've got a scoop of chips, standard. You need that. You get maybe get a fish, obviously, maybe a burger, maybe a snag, a deep fried snag. If I want to be really over the top, I'm probably gonna get like a deep fried Moro bar or maybe deep fried donut, like something that's really sugary, just to finish it off, and then I'm combing on the beach and getting sunburnt.
That you haven't been and gotten like a fresh piece of snapper or flathead from any of just the normal takeaway shops from any towns that have great fish and chips in Australia is ridiculous. You need it. Skimmy, do you leave the house?
I don't.
Your first
I'm
problem.
too busy ordering from Menulog, Mac.
Rusty, what do you... True, I guess that's how you use it. Rusty, what are you getting?
I mean, I've actually, you know what? I had a meal ready. It was in my head. I was like, oh, wet weather. Like, could go for like a roast of some kind. Like, if we're going to break the budget a little bit, right, you go all out and get yourself a nice roast for the wet weather. But then Skimmy set me off with fish and chips, and low key, I have had good fish and chips in Australia, and now I'm fiending for it. Like, just dead set. Just want some fish and chips.
Well, look, I grew up on the south coast. We had some great fish and chips. For dinner, definitely would get fish and chips. But today, it's Tuesday, so I'm probably going to dabble in some pie, you know, green Thai curry. Ooh,
yum.
some jasmine rice. Yeah, and that'll fill me up. Nice. With chicken. Chicken, of course. Good protein. Nice and clean. Now, that's it for Menulog Mealtime. So let's have a look at the leaderboard, where things are currently sitting after the first day of Week 7. And there you have it. Top 4 already locked in. Not so much locked into those positions. There's still room for them to shift around a bit. But for the moment, you know, Order, there's no one from that bottom 3 that's going to be able to knock them out of the top 5. So, yeah, look, I guess Mammoth and Kanga, that's the separation I'm still waiting for. Both locked into that 6th position. And today could be the day for it. Rusty, anything you want to touch on in terms of leaderboard here?
I think right now, Chiefs the only team that I believe is confirmed locked in like a top 3 position as well. And remember that as we get closer to the playoffs, top 3 is an extra opportunity or a buy round. You know, the 4-5s are eliminations out the gates. So you've got to be very careful there. So definitely excited for the Chiefs. Peace very close to locking that one out themselves. And I mean, most of the conversation, Mac, is going to revolve around who gets that last spot.
100%. Now, you know, Skimmy, Gravitas, 2 wins. They got a few days left to get some more. Do we see that working out for them?
I hope so. I really do hope so, because we saw Split 1 almost be a replica in LCO last year. Coming into Split 2, they were a lot stronger, as were a lot of those teams in the bottom half of the ladder. So it may just be a case, once again, right, of replacing the majority of your team, needing to lay the foundations of these first 9 weeks of competition. Rinse, repeat, rock it up in Split 2. But now that they've gone out of playoffs contention, you start to get kind of excited to see, you know, what have they actually got cooked up to try and play upset here.
It's the perfect time to really, you know, give some of those benched players a run on the Rift. Now, let's have a look at today's games before we jump on into all that pre-show action. And, of course, it's going to be 6 p.m. Kanga and Order to start the day. 7 p.m. we've got Direwolves and Peace. 8 p.m. Mammoth and Pentanet and Grav and Chiefs going toe-to-toe at 9 p.m. So, Rusty, if you had to pick your favourite game today, where are we looking? I'm thinking that second one, or even the first, looks pretty spicy.
I was thinking the second one as well, to be honest. I think that Peace Direwolves, particularly with the brand of league that we've seen from Direwolves lately, and Peace off the back of a loss, you don't necessarily know what you're going to see from them today, but Peace have been prone to a couple of mistakes here and there. Perhaps it's just willing, and we can talk about that more when we get to the Peace game, but Direwolves have been looking hot around their mid laner, just carrying even in matchups you shouldn't be winning.
Well, I also just received word as well. So today, if Direwolves win, then they lock in that 5th position for playoffs. Or if both Mammoth and Kanga lose their respective games, which would definitely happen with the matchups they're in, then Direwolves also lock in that 5th position. So there is a pretty high likelihood, I'd say, for Direwolves to be making it today. But look, if Kanga play crazy, or if Mammoth go out of their minds like, you know, we saw at the start of the split, then maybe there's a chance. So look, here is the possibilities, the possible scenarios. 4,096 possible scenarios from this point of where teams move and who wins and who loses, and the numbers on the right side of the column. But there's only like 2, 3 different possibilities, or like maybe probably like 6 scenarios today that matter the most, mostly for Direwolves. And then it's the conversation for the rest of those scenarios of where we're going to see these teams sitting on the leaderboard for the end of the split, going into playoffs. Anything you want to touch on there, Rusty?
I mean, there's not too much to say beyond the crazy amount of, like, once I saw there was 4,000, I was confused, Mac. We were having this conversation before it started. I was like, I don't even see it. But that includes the entire league, right? So there is still plenty of time left to play and lots of movement to be had.
Yeah, it's all about those outcomes, but it's all about the stats as well. So let's have a quick checkup with some of these player stats, because we see some familiar names across pretty much every one of these stats, Skimmy.
We do, yeah, and I think we ran a similar segment only a few weeks ago, sort of talking about what teams' identities were, and then when we break it down into those individual categories and what those top 3s look like, I mean, we were talking about why Chiefs were so strong in their individual appearance. You're looking at Raze, literally in the majority of these columns. He's been playing out of his mind, nothing to not be too familiar with, right? It's what he holds himself to, but it's phenomenal that you're seeing not only Raze in that conversation, then like Tally and Tapoon also breaking in. So it's like 2 of the top 3 in a lot of these major categories, KDA and GPM being the ones that really speak to mind, right? You're farming up well, you're getting kills, but you're dying not that much to obviously make that work. So phenomenal individuals. Solo kills is also the one we got really excited about. Congratulations to Kiyose now, who actually eclipses Dejong. It was Tapoon in a league of his own, but now Kiyose has steadily been putting in some very solid performances, and as Rusty mentioned, that's why that game tonight is so important.
Yeah, it's also as well, you know, Kiyose, when he started playing nuts, the rest of the boys rose around him, and you see Direwolves pretty close to locking in this 5th playoff spot now.
Yeah, I mean, there is a pretty big deal there with not just Kiyose improving, like you said, right, but the whole team rallying around him. And you know what it is?
Yeah.
With all due respect to the Bull God, I think it is that the trio is back together, if that makes sense, right? They add back the former Mammoth, the squad of 3, and it feels like something's kind of just clicked, and then they're actually finding their own again. But yeah, otherwise, the rest of those stats were pretty straightforward stuff, Mac. It's the solo kills that I was looking at as well.
Yeah, maybe Frost just needed that synergy down in the bot lane. But we're going to be bringing Kitty on early today, not for the interview, but for something a little more spicy. Kitty, are you ready for the LCO champion conundrum?
Yes, I am, Mac.
Is today the day looks with you? Is it now your life could read you? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
We had the bloody hysterics all covered up there now as well. Kitty, I don't know if you got cut off, but you can bring the segment in if you want.
Well, we're gonna do guess the old item. Hopefully everyone isn't, you know, as of a zoomer as me, because I did start playing League when I was 9, so hopefully I do remember these items.
Yes.
How does this operate?
It's okay, so
Here we go.
there's going to be a picture of an item, of an old item that's no longer in the game, and you just have to guess the name of it. And I have all the names here, so I'm not going to take part, but I'll tell you when you get these points, and I'll even keep track because I'm nice like that, Rusty. So let's kick things off. Let's have a look at what the first item's going to be.
Oh, is that about the enchantment?
The
not
enchantment of
the
boots, right? Yeah.
At both.
So boots of mobility with alacrity enchantment?
You
Is
got
that home guards?
halfway there.
Home guards? Home
That
guard
is
enchant?
Skimmy's on the money.
Okay.
There you go. So Skimmy
Alacrity
gets
was
half a point.
Green.
Rusty gets half a point. Kitty, you were too slow today.
Guys,
Sorry,
back
Kitty.
in the days, we actually had to buy the home guards, like when you run out of the base, instead of the game actually providing you with home guards. So
Yeah.
life is a lot better now. Give some context for this, I guess.
Home guard is just the quick movement out of base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for all the noobs out there like me, just clearing it up. Now, item number 2. Let's dive in and see what it is. Apparently, it's tricky.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen that in my life, man.
It
I
was
don't know what it
available on
Twisted
Twisted
Tree Line?
Tree Line.
Oh, you're having
And
a laugh,
Crystal
innit?
Scar. I'm not laughing, Rusty. I'm having a great time.
No one plays Twisted Tree
I missed that mode. Bring it back. I missed
played the
Dominion.
mode.
I missed it all.
It was very similar to Leandry's.
Was this the Leandry's that had the Deathfire Grasp active?
I don't know about what it does, but I can tell you it starts with a B.
Bro.
Look
Bruh.
at
Bruh.
what's in the image. That's also it's pretty.
Pitchfork, it's a lantern.
It's a star.
Candelabra.
Burning torch?
Grab your. Yep, Skimmy's got one word.
Blast flare torch.
No, but almost.
Burning.
No, it has.
Burning was a good
It's
guess.
got that warm tone for
Right.
the first word.
Is it not bright?
No,
Brilliant?
no.
Brilliant
Think
torch.
darker. Think so. Opposite of bright, but warm.
But starting with a B?
Yes.
Brim torch.
Brew.
Opposite of white.
Black.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, right. That's
Give one more word in there.
frost.
Black touch.
Opposite of
Torch.
frost.
Black torch.
Oh my god,
Black
is it
star.
Blackfire?
Yes.
What was the other part?
Torch. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
hey.
listening.
Hey, we got there. Baby steps, guys.
Okay.
Baby steps. All right.
We absolutely nailed the opposite of that item.
Amazing. Now look, let's just jump on into number 3. It is.
Oh, it's the old support item.
yeah.
Oh no. Eye of Targon? Targon?
Negative.
Was that really? Targon's was green, wasn't it? I don't know what this one is though.
It starts
like-
with R. I see you're all struggling already. 4 words.
4 words, starts with R. It is a support item, right? Like we're not. Kitty's not wrong. Yeah.
Is. I'm gonna Google it. Just
I don't know if I played during this season.
I can give you.
Yeah.
So it's got
Production said it's of the something. Yeah, we.
it's something of the something. It did have Targon's built into this or grew into this or something.
Eye of the target.
It's got 350 health
Wait, it's R.
plus 200% base health regen and plus 10% cooldown reduction.
I feel like those stats are things that I would have guessed more than the name.
True.
No lie.
I just know it's an awarding
Got
item.
10 seconds.
I have no clue.
Last word's aspect. Just guess the
Aspect
first word.
of. Wait, Targon of the aspect.
Almost.
Aspect of.
It starts with R.
Regent.
3, 2, 1. Bam. Done. Dunzo. Remnant of the aspect.
No,
Remnant of the
these are
aspect.
hard.
These are pretty difficult. I thought yeah. Good luck. All right, we got some more.
I mean, Kitty nailed what the item did, so we take those.
Oh, Philostone.
Yeah, that one's easy.
The whole name, please.
Oh, Philosopher's
Philosopher's
Stone.
Stone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Skimmy.
missed that item.
There you go. You got 1.5 points now, Skimmy. Congrats.
Nice.
All right, jumping on into number 5. We're making time with these ones.
Oh, it's one of the jungle
That's
items.
skirmishes or something.
No.
It's the machete one. Hunter's
I know what
machete?
they do, but I don't know the names. Oh god.
It's not machete.
It's the ability power.
I
3
don't know.
words.
I didn't play.
Starts with R. Middle word's T. Last word starts with R. If you do treasure trails in RuneScape, you're probably going to get these
Bro.
boots.
What
the first
did
word.
you just say?
It's another name for an archer. They can be known
Ranger.
as... Yes, that's the first
Yeah.
word. Now go from there.
Ranger?
There's the whole word is ranger, right? Like not range or
Rangers.
yeah.
The ranger would own this item. Second word, pretty difficult. If you played RuneScape again, they had a league named this last year, and the last word is also like it's like an axe, but
Yeah.
it's also got it starts with rune.
It's yeah.
Also
Rune
RuneScape.
blade something.
Ooh.
Oh, Rune X of the Ranger.
No. So ranger's the first word.
Oh, right.
Rangers something, rune something, and that's rune something's one word. It's just half of it. You got 10 seconds.
Right. No idea.
Ah. Is this the ability power one though?
It's the ability power,
Because
yeah.
that's cringe
the one
if it's
Ezreal
called Rangers.
buys.
Full stop.
3,
Oh.
Spirit of the Lizard Elder is the only one I
One.
can remember for Ezreal.
boom.
Oh
That's too
yeah,
hard.
Trailblazer
bro.
Rune Glaive.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
That looks like a
Trailblazer
glaive,
Rune
doesn't
Glaive.
it?
You know, it
That
was
looks
all
like a trail
RuneScape related. I don't know how you guys didn't
blazer.
get it. It was really weird. Now, one more. We have one left. All right?
Oh, I
It's
get it.
Heart
I
of
love this item.
Gold.
Yeah.
Heart of Gold.
Everyone knows that
Oh,
one.
there
Yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually a green shell from Mario Kart, but look what I want to. Now, that's it. Congrats, Skimmy.
Jeez.
Skimmy is fast off the mark with the actual answers, so he's getting all the points.
Well, I played like during season 1 to season 3. Then I took a big break. So I knew a lot of those at the start, but then a lot of
Right.
that just went over me.
When did you
Yeah.
guys start playing League?
I don't know,
question.
Kitty. That's a great question, but they'll answer that after you leave because you got to get your own. Okay? Bye. Sorry, that was. I'm not allowed to be mean
Savage.
to Kitty. I'm sorry. We just have to move on with the show, Kitty. It's not your fault, all right? It's not your fault. Anyway, we gotta jump on into from the fans. You guys at home have been sending in the big questions, and I'm talking about like big questions that are causing controversy in the ranks of production and us before we're even going live with the show. So make sure you jump on in there. Of course, you're asking live questions today. You know, it's kind of coincidental. I just got rid of Kitty, but she was there in the image. Sorry again.
Happens.
It just happens. At LCO, if you want to ask us any little things about life or anything, really, you know, we'll answer it. Now, let's have a look at what the questions are. So, we've got a few submissions already off the get-go.
Oh no.
So, sock, shoe, or sock, shoe. So, essentially what Jazz Lottie is asking here is, do you put on both of your socks, then both of your shoes, or do you put on like a sock, and while you got the foot there, you put your shoe on, and then you put the sock on, and then the shoe on the other foot? Rusty, what do you do?
This is one of the few things in my life that I think I will take a very hard stance on, Mac, and I am prepared to upset anyone who does it the wrong way, which is, if you're not going sock, sock, shoe, shoe, you're a psychopath.
But
that is my official stance.
But that's so useless sometimes. If you've got... So the way I put my shoes on most of the time, because my shoes are on the ground behind me, is I take a knee. I put one knee down.
Why are your shoes on the ground behind you?
I think for context, where do you store your shoes? Are your shoes in your bedroom?
Nah.
Then so how are they near
Are
your
you taking your socks out to the front door and putting your socks on there?
I grab my socks from the drawer, and then I usually leave out the back door, and my shoes are near the back door.
Oh.
So I grab my socks, and I have them in my hand, and then I kneel down, I put on a sock. It's like, say if you're in the car, and you got to put your shoes on in the car because you're running late or whatever. Put up one knee, all right? You got one knee up. You put your sock on. You're not going to put that foot back down to put the other sock on to then pick that foot up to then swap the feet again. That's just stupid. While your foot's there, you put your sock on, your shoe on.
But why aren't you putting your socks on in the first place?
Your shoe on.
Just taking them out of your drawer. Why aren't you putting them there? Why are you taking them all the way out to the front door?
Because I don't have my shoes in my room.
Yeah, but like, don't you just, you take them out the drawer, you put your socks on, you walk out, feet are nice and snug, they're warm, you walk out to get your shoes, bang, bang, out you go. Am I wrong? Surely not.
It's real weird. I don't really wear socks. I'm a barefoot kind of guy in general.
Oh, well, that makes sense then.
I'd prefer to just wear thongs.
As long as you have shoes off indoors, Mac, I'm happy.
Yeah, shoes off indoors,
that's like, that's a hard line, but I find it still incomprehensible to do.
Okay, I'm getting told by production I can't argue any longer. We actually have to talk about LCO things. So Order and Kanga is going to be the first game. Let's have a look at Order. Skimmy, tell me why Order goes sock, shoe, sock, shoe.
I was just judging by the alternating patterns on their shirts, really. It tells you all. They are looking to try and make magic. Maybe not try and cause as many upsets as yourself here, Mac, but that's beside the point. Yep. Order coming into this one, looking to try and continue their pace from what they gave us last night. They got a nice little win over Gravitas, and they'll be looking to try and do the same here into Kanga. A bit of an easy week for them, all things considered, so you'd like to see them just run things back once again, convincing win, and turn their attention towards next week.
Well, let's have a look at their opponents today. Of course, that's going to be Kanga. Rusty, tell me what kind of chance they have, and how's Scott doing as that new player?
It's an uphill battle for Kanga without a doubt. We've only seen them one game from Scott so far. It was a difficult L for the side of Kanga, right? They were pretty well bodied by Direwolves across the board. But Scott, I don't have like specific negatives to speak towards the player. He's got big shoes to fill, first of all, full stop. Big biceps to fill as well. Sorry, I had to get that one in for you, Mac.
Has he actually got big biceps?
I don't know. I just know that Only does.
Very true.
The main point, the main point is that I think Scott showed that he had pretty good game sense. Like, he did recognize windows and when to fight. It's just he had a pretty rough go of, lanes to gank for, and in general didn't have the opportunity to really strut his stuff. So I'm not high on Scott, but I haven't seen anything to write home about just yet.
Yeah.
It's the rest of the team that I think was a bit missing in the last one.
Yeah, well, let's see how they fare today. Order, we can get one of two Order rosters. There's one where, everyone's playing well, and there's one where, a couple of players are playing well, and it's usually Puma who's always on the up and up. This game in particular, he didn't actually get a huge amount of kills, but he did more than enough to, get the dub. Order, of course, I think they're 1-1 with Kanga at the moment, right? So this has weight. I don't know how far away. I think Order's a little bit too far away at the moment for Kanga to catch. There is a world where Kanga can catch up, but it's like Kanga can't lose a game from this point. There's a couple of little scenarios.
Either way, Order a 2-0, right?
Before we discuss this, we'll discuss this between ourselves. The players, though, have something to say.
I think on paper, the Order roster is very, very explosive, and they're definitely scrim gods, but when it comes to stage, I think they underperform. I think a lot of their games have been close, and I'm surprised that they're so low on the standings.
After watching a lot of their games, I think they just haven't shown up a lot. I just can't imagine losing to them. I think Lived for the longest time on his team has been the only carry or damage source. He's probably the only hope, I guess, in Kanga. If he falls behind, I feel like the whole game crumbles.
I think they're our toughest matchup because they contest a lot in the early game, and Kanga gets a lot of wins through early game aggression. I'm looking forward to seeing if we can finally beat them.
Best of ones, I feel like just doesn't fit our style. And once we hit the playoffs, we're gonna just outshine everyone, and we're gonna break the Chiefs, the peace hype real quick. And I'm excited to show our team's potential.
Good to hear from the players there. So we'll see, if they can live up to those words. There's a lot going on. However, I was wrong before. It wasn't 1-1 at the moment. It is 2-0 to Order. They haven't lost to Kanga just yet. I thought for some reason Kanga was one of the teams that beat them at some point, but maybe I was thinking of another. However, look, we got to talk about two players in particular. We're talking about the top lane, and it's Lived and Bio. So Bio was saying that Lived seems to be doing a lot of the work, a lot of the damage for Kanga at the moment. And Bio, like, if anyone's going to be able to say that, it's him, right? Because that's his matchup, especially in these games. And I don't know, does he feel sorry for Liv? Does he think that he can accomplish more? Like, let's have a look at the stats here, Skimmy, as we talk about this.
Yes, Lived actually has the highest KP of any top laner in the entire league. I think if you ever needed proof to sort of back up Bio's point, it was yesterday. The team were falling around a fair bit. Lived actually had the most farm in the entire game. It's the Hullbreaker, Shieldbow, Graves. So when the ganks did actually go his way, it took 3 to 4 people to try and take him down. Even if a 5-man roster rocked up to try and take down Liv's Graves, it was taking at least 10 seconds. So you could argue maybe buying space for the rest of the team to do stuff, but ultimately the rest of the team has sort of fallen down in the laning phase. And he was the final piece in that puzzle. So we sort of been very high on Lived all split long, that he has been a big focus of how they can find leads. He needs to find strength elsewhere in this team to sort of even out the books, because Bio can definitely rely on that factor.
He certainly can. Now, Rusty, anything you want to say about these stats? Because I'm seeing a few that are similar, but I'm seeing, I think the main thing for me that's different is just the difference in the amount of times both of them have died, right? And Bio seems to be playing that little bit safer, but you can't really say that for Liv, because I've seen him trying to play safe, but he just gets 3-man doves so many games.
No, you're exactly right. The stats don't necessarily tell the story, but they do complement the fact that Liv gets a lot of attention. He is absolutely one of the biggest focal points for Kanga, and I think that's fair because he's been consistently pretty solid overall. And if you attack his lane, it seems like the rest of the map started to crumble already by default. So it makes sense that there'd be a difference there.
And look, both of these players have had rough times here and there. Bio, we actually have a little memory that we're going to quickly look back at. It was the last time these two teams played, and Bio was actually, stun locked for a good 6-7 seconds, whatever it was. I don't know. Skimmy, you want to count it for me?
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, he's going to come into the Chompers. There's one, into a Flea. There's the second, is Neverfrost, the Solar Flare, another stun, another Zenith Blade. I mean, it's just all coming together, isn't it? You're literally saying, I'm a tank, though, and tanks don't exist. They really just don't exist with the itemization of the champions, everything. So, Bio being the Titan he is probably hitting that teleport button and then mashing down furiously.
Look, he did his job, right? He baited out every bit of CC that they had, and a lot of the damage too. The fact he survived for that long with that many pieces of CC thrown at him is like kind of ridiculous. Either way, we got Kitty, who is ready to come back to the desk now. So let's see how she's doing. How you going, Kitty? Who do you have for the pre-match?
Hello, before my interview, I need to know, because this is just an ego thing. When did you guys start playing?
2010.
14?
Yeah, I started
15?
Season 1, whenever that was. 2009?
Well, I started in Season 4, and let's bring in Scott to know what season he actually started in. So Scott, welcome to LCO. When did you start playing League?
I think I started playing League when Kha'Zix was a good jungler. There was like still the Lantern item, the Wriggler's Lantern or something on Lee Sin, but that must have been like ages ago, I don't know.
But hopefully we do see your Lee Sin tonight, because I do know you play a bit of Lee Sin. But let's get into the interview. So first time playing in the LCO, previously playing in the OCS. What's the biggest difference suddenly jumping into the LCO from the Challenger series?
I don't think there's really like that much difference. Just the only difference is that laners are better, I guess. Doesn't really look like...
Laners
I
are
don't know.
better?
I feel like junglers, to be honest, like they kind of revolve around the team, and which of the laners are better, you play towards them. But yeah, I guess in OCS, the laners were kind of kind of bad. But yeah, here, the laners are a lot more disciplined, I guess.
LCO is the top of the rankings in terms of skill, but has your time schedule and your schedule for scrims been busy?
Well, on Yuki, we only scrimmed like what, not even once a week. But now that I'm on the LCO, I scrim like at least like 3 times a week, maybe even 4. But yeah, on OCS, I didn't really scrim at all. So.
And for the sake of Rusty and Mac, can you please show up your bicep?
Oh, my biceps. My bicep games are kind of weak. I haven't hit the gym in a while, but I'll show one for the team. Whatever.
Okay, well,
whatever.
we'll bring in the boys soon to rate that bicep. But my second question for the interview is that we know that Only brought on the experience and leadership to the team from a previous interview. What would you say separates you two as a player?
I think, well, I'm not really sure about like Only too much, but I think I'm like a pretty good mechanical jungler. It's not really a comparison, but I like to play like high mechanics, like high skirmishes, and I think Only does bring a bit more intangibles as a veteran, but hopefully I can bring something to this team that kind of excites people, and I hope people look at me without a bias. So yeah, that's all.
Well, I'm also very excited to see your second game coming into week 7. Best of luck, Scott, and have fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was good.
Rate the bicep,
Good,
guys.
good attempt. Great confidence.
The confidence is what mattered the most. I'm with Mac.
The fact that he didn't go, oh, nah, sorry. He was like, look, have a look. And there was some definition. It was all right. So look, I think he can do a good job filling Only's biceps, although Only may have something to say about that. I guess we'll see, of course. They are teammates at the end of the day. Now, let's talk about predictions. You guys at home, the Dare fan vote, you need to get those Twitch points in. Put them on a team that you think is going to win, and you can do my prediction. Because, of course, I'm going with you guys. I love you guys. Please get my predictions right. And one day, in the future, I think it's almost impossible for me to catch up to Kitty now. But Rusty, ooh, that's another question. We might be able to catch up to Rusty by the end of the split here. No, we cannot. Okay.
So you've got like 12 games left?
We can get...
So I'd have to get every
even.
single... Nah, impossible.
Well, you got to remember, each game in a series counts. So all the best of 5s.
Oh, true.
Oh.
Still points. So maybe there's a chance. I guess I could catch up then. All the way to the dub. The big dub. Twitch chat, I'm looking at you. All right. Now, I didn't actually... That went really quick. I was kind of talking about stuff. Did you go for order?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
I hope so.
Why, Kitty?
Well, I went with order because Puma, as we saw in the KDA department, I believe, or maybe the CS, I wasn't too sure about that, but he is topping the graphs in terms of stat, and I do think Puma is someone to look out for coming into tonight's game, and that's why order will be having a swift victory against Kanga.
Very true. Now, while you guys go and do champ select, I'm going to enjoy this. Yeah.
Oh, enjoy. It's always nice, isn't it, when you hear the can pop, you know something's about to go
Back
down.
The cold one.
Yeah, absolutely. Champ Select, here we go. Kanga Esports going to kick off things here for day 2 of week 7. They're going to be on the left-hand side, opening up with a Gwen pick.
Yeah, straight to the Gwen. I feel like Gwen comes and goes, doesn't it, Skimmy? Sometimes we see it all the time. Today is going to be first priority. Yesterday, I don't really feel like we saw it more than once, which I believe was the Chiefs game. Otherwise, it might be banned, but alas, when you're against order, things like the Evelyn, the Diana also have to be considered. They're going to choose to get rid of the Caitlyn here as well, third, which I guess does make sense when a Zeri and a Jinx are already gone, but it leaves Aphelios as like the one real AD carry left standing. We saw teams like Direwolves do this yesterday, right? They'll just go Lucian Nami if you go for Aphelios. Plenty of options there. Thresh exists, but if you run Cleanse on the Lucian Nami, you just kind of outdamage and the Thresh is relevant. So it's possible.
It does become interesting then, right, as to what would Linus go instead. Because if you look at sort of the sample size, what we have, it'd be Senna, it'd be Jhin, it would be Varus. So whether or not he wants to sort of go down that role of saying, well, given that everything has been taken away that I have played or been banned, so I can just try and play a little bit more towards utility, unless there is a Jhin angle that really looks quite good. Ziggs going to be locked in here, so we're going to get ourselves a bit of AP damage. I believe this will only be our second time for a potential botlane Ziggs.
Yeah, Ziggs locked in is good. I like this. I feel like the ability power is not the biggest deal about the reason that we pick it. It's more the fact that it's more like a nullifying lane, and it opens up, as you're now seeing, right, more aggressive AD options through mid lane, and we know that Kanga has Fireto as a as a big has the Trist rather as a big option to consider. However, he's blind picked it, Timmy. So this is curious as to like any options really available.
Yeah, it was banned away last night, right? Teams not wanting to take any risks with it, having already been shown on one occasion. Second time here, Fighter to play. That makes a little bit more sense now with the Ziggs being locked in. Response though from Order will be the Ari. So Kisei, another year older, another year wiser, wanting to be the man that finds those picks together.
And I can't help but feel like Ari's just decent in the matchup, right? Trist tries to jump it, similar to LeBlanc in that respect, right? You're very good at cancelling out dash abilities. Trist, if she's trying to be super aggressive and win the trades, tends to jump forwards at your head. So it's a bit more predictable. So now we've got, I want to say like not a nullified lane, but high risk with low potential in mid lane. As for junglers, Gwen could still be flexed with Liver and Scott, so that's to be seen, and it's into the Lee Sin. So looking at Kanga's 4-5 bans, I feel like they are predictably going to consider supports now that would give Ziggs a hard time. I think Thresh does make it a little bit too free. See what they choose to go for.
Indeed, they're actually going to ban away this Gnar, which we've seen most prevalently coming out from BioPanther. 3 games in his last 8 on this champion, as it makes a, you'd say, a small resurgence back into the meta of things, especially for himself. But we're going to opt to go and ban away the Nautilus as well as the Leona.
Oh, I mean, Tahm Kench is still up, but I don't know if Tahm Kench works brilliantly with the Ziggs for the lane itself. I mean, realistically, that should be fine. But the Gnar ban, I mean, you'd expect a Graves to accompany it, right? But at the same time, the Thresh that I spoke about before is going to be addressed.
Sure.
Banning Gnar away from BioPanther feels like such a comfort ban, but also getting rid of the Thresh when Tahm Kench exists means that we've opened a camp. Like, I really like what Order did with their 4-5 ban scheme. I think they just completely nullified 2 of the best, like, stand in front of the Ziggs type of picks. And now you have to kind of really go down the list to find something with the Tahm Kench already taken away. And if it's something like a Braum, then you're just sad about it. Rakan is one of the other options, but it's not a pure tank. Like, you could force it with Aftershock, but usually you'll be running Guardian. And so that lane now heavily revolves around what the Ziggs gets done.
Without a doubt. And it does beg the question now how active Lionel's going to be on the map to perhaps leave that lane, go elsewhere, look to try and find picks and trying to match sort of the prowess of this Ari and the Lee Sin. Ziggs should be alright, depending on what that matchup would all look like. But the Zen is now being hovered. This is what we saw Scott make his debut on last night. As far as debuts go, wasn't the worst. Certainly a player that we're excited to see more out of, and a champion that allows him, like he said in his interview, to be mechanically, be skirmish heavy.
And it's a fun little archetype that we've got here from Kanga. Just waiting for Order's last pick. We spoke about the Gnar ban. I mean, remember, plenty of weak side options now exist still. It is going to be confirmed to be the Gwen matchup. So, ball's in BioPanther's court. This is the obvious, easy answer to every single situation right now in top lane. Just pick yourself the Graves and have a pretty good go of it regardless. Try and push. Usually your main focus. If you can keep Gwen busy by simply pushing, then you'll be fine as she is busy having to hit the creeps. The thing that I was going to say, though, for the composition of Kanga here, Skimmy, is that Gwen's in immune circles, right? And then we've often seen it with Akali. I think she's usually my favorite third piece of the puzzle in that comp.
Sure.
Because she's so hard to hit, has good flank angles, and is mobile. I think Tristana has a lot of similarities, but is obviously going to be permanently visible, doesn't have the shroud there, nor the double dash that's reliant on getting a reset. But there is an incredible amount of upfront damage and a little bit less damage over time. I think that's where the Ziggs comes into the play. So I do like what their composition has and is capable of. I just feel like Order is the meta version of them, right? Barring the Xin and the Gwen.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That immunity, the double immunity, if you will, is going to be an absolute treat to witness. How many times they can get in, make plays, and get away literally scot-free. If you want a pun in there, thrown into the mix. Well, let's see what Order have got. In terms of what they've shown for this mid jungle, it is aggressive, it is pick heavy, it is a case of them looking to try and push their advantage. Bot lane, as we saw also with the support tradings going around, Tahm Kench now being gifted for what will be his I believe first game on this champion. It's been a hot minute since we've seen him play anything but the Leona, so exciting times for him. But now, overall, are you swaying towards any team for an advantage here?
I mean, I'm personally swaying towards Order's comp. I think just top lane is so stable. Kevy on his Lee Sin is very good at playmaking. We've seen what he does when he gets Viego and takes over Lee Sin, let alone what he actually has with the native champion. I really like Ari at the moment in the meta. I think she's just phenomenal. And I think that, you know, Fido's gone for his pocket pick. It was blind, however, and so he didn't get the preference of matchup. And then I just can't look past an Aphelios and a Tahm Kench. Even if Limas and Lionel are pushing them in, it is still such a great scaling option. So I really like what Order have. In terms of their late game team fighting, however, I would say it's less obvious. It's more delicate in how you actually have to operate. So a little bit harder perhaps to execute, and the burden lies with them. But the potential to get that lead, so that burden isn't real.
Let's see what this game looks like. Order secured for playoffs, currently sat in 4th position. Kanga keen to try and pick up those victories for a chance at an upset. Let's load into this one and get excited for the first game of the day. And as we do, check in with the coaching staff from the side of Kanga as I get a chance to speak with Coach Drac once again. And I have to ask Drac, I mean, we see Scott here playing. Had his debut last night, making the promotion, if you will, from the Challenger Series a few years ago. So what's it been like working with him, and how's he found the switch?
Just before I answer that, can I just say we didn't bench only. His role within the team, shifting to a more coaching-oriented one, was his idea and driven by him. He wants to see if he can contribute more to the team's development from outside the game, a position that I definitely encourage because knowledgeable assistance is always welcome when you're coaching. Scott has been playing really well in our scrims, like really consistently over the last few weeks, and we all felt that it was time that that hard work paid off and he got a chance to show his skills on stage, so we pulled the trigger on it this week.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's good to hear that things are working out in that regard, because obviously that was a big talking point with what only brought to the team was, you know, the leadership and the communication. So has that changed too much now with him taking a coaching role? Has other players in the team had to sort of step up to fill that void?
There's definitely a gap, like in game comms, but that leadership is translating to like better learning for them, especially like early game and jungle pathing and things like that. Like he's a really big voice still within the team. Scott has a more aggressive style, more willing to fight, so it's definitely taking his time to adjust to like the new dynamic at the moment.
Oh, fantastic. Well, what a great time for him to shine and showcase what he can do on the biggest stage we have here. Well, thank you for your time as always, Drac. We're going to crack on with this game, and I wish you boys the best of luck for this game and the next.
Thank you.
Good to have that insight there from the coach of Kanga Skimmy. That's information that I don't believe any of us had. Because all we really knew is he was a secondary player, as Fido was going to absolutely obliterate the health bar of Kisei in mid lane. But more of a coaching role for Only is something that I wasn't aware of. I just assumed that they were both going to be filling in the roles of jungling. It makes sense though, Skimmy, I guess, with just the experience that comes from him.
It certainly does. And there's the experience also from Fido. Knows the matchup. He's actually played this in that one game up against Pentanet, right? Into the RE. Well, yeah, you forgot the cannon. We panned away. We don't want to see that one, but certainly when the Hail of Blades is ready, he's jumping in, right? Explosive shot, ramp it up, forcing a flash out of Kisei.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you have to be hyper aggressive. I think Hail of Blades is a clear indicator of it. And if you have the advantage, like level 2 first, you just want to jump straight on their head. If you get that initial trade out, explosive shot should help you get level 2 pretty fast as well. And you can see what he's capable of with a health advantage. Bot lane, just gonna miss there.
It looked dicey for a second though, didn't it? The fancy feet of Lemus and the disengage away from Lionel was just enough. Kevy going to pick up his blue buff here as he goes towards Gromp. Scott already with an advantage with the double buffs in hand. Going to reveal the river and spot out maybe where Kevy is going to next.
I don't think we got to see what happened, Skimmy, but Kisei is walking back to lane again. I don't know if he teleported to... Because the wave was crashing under his turret, so he 100% teleported to catch the minion wave. But he's gone back to base again.
That is curious. Not we'll get any insight into that one. We'll have to wait and see. Corporal jumps in. Not going to find what he's after. Satchel charge. The last bit of mana that Lemus has. Gets him out of harm's way. First gank. Not connect.
Good pressure, though. The summoner spells are quite important. That does mean that now mid of order has no sums. And look at Scott.
So you keen for it, aren't they? The chum goes out, connects with the Zen, and it is as easy as that. Throw the white flag out. It's first blood for Kanga.
Yeah, and we can talk about a charm being useful for perhaps stopping dashes, but it's not going to matter when you've just got a Zen flashing on your head. The good play had been made by Fighter already, and it just means Scott's there to capitalize. I mean, that is the ideal start for Kanga. We spoke about compositions originally. I did say there was a lot of potential there for the Kanga roster. The fact they have 2 untargetable frontline members usually is significant. Order can kind of navigate their way through the immunity. It's just the Aphelios that will tend to suffer the most. But beyond that, if the Tristana's getting kills, if the Zin's getting kills, they're not just immune, they're actually beating you in those areas of immunity. That's where it gets dangerous for Order.
Certainly does. And Lived has really been, as we check in with his lane, at the forefront of this Graves gameplay. He's played 5 games, double that of anybody else in the league so far. And has been defaulted to that position numerous occasions. Bot lane we go though, and it is no time to slow down with the aggression. Corporal going to soak up a world of pain and punishment, hit the thick skin. Shield is consumed. And now we are very low on resources, health and mana.
Going to be a reset for Kanga, no doubt about it. Lionel wants to get out of here real fast. Corporal's already going back to base. And just Summoner Spells being consistently traded at the moment, right? The one place that really found success was that gank attempt from Scott in mid. This kind of opens up the map to be quite brutal for Kisei, to be perfectly honest. You can see Kevy resets through mid lane just to make sure he's okay. The wave's coming towards him and he has vision for the moment, but Fido after this next wave would most likely use the point of freedom that he has to dip towards bot side where his Zin and Rakan are to clear vision, or pressure for the turret plate while the Rakan does all the work. So, I mean, the world is their oyster as to how they would like to play it, from just winning the lane.
Shows the pressure that can come out from winning lane, right? Find yourself in a position like this where you can actually be proactive.
Most important thing we've ever seen in League of Legends there, Skimmy, was the support got the control ward. Learn the rules, everyone. Support's in range of a control ward, he gets the control ward, because he will have sweeper and you get all of those.
True. Here we go though. First dragon of the game. Paul going to try and make a play, double flash from both supports. Cancelling out one another. The Drake is down to 50%. The 2-man Abyssal dive and Pumazo actually got the Gravitum, and that is as easy as you like it when it comes to Kevy. Kill secured, double kill, reclaim the Drake. They're back in this.
I mean, they just wiped both members there, right? Scott and Limas completely eviscerated. It's so simple from Order. And to me, it feels like Kanga wanted the Drake, but they were apprehensive to fight. Lionel was the only one who really recognized the window there, right? And tries to flash in, be super aggressive. And you'll see this here, right? Flashes, uses the W. Corporal just flashes away. But because he only uses the flash, he has the W of his own to use to re-engage here. And then quite simply, Puma on the flank, purple weapons that'll be able to activate off the flamethrower. Easy double lockdown. So simple from Order, so easy to execute. And Kisei still very much relevant, where we didn't get to see anything from Fido.
Did not. And he has himself a healthy CS advantage. The question is, what's he actually going to do with this one? He's got himself the Berserker Greaves rushed. On towards that turret, looking for a second plate to require. Scott in the area, close to level 6 himself, would need only a couple of these Raptors. Easy said and done though, as Kevy's coming around. There is the smite to secure it. Level 6 is there. Kevy dashing with a ward, perhaps. Looking at a Dragon's Rage. It's going to be used to disengage. It actually cancels out Fido mid-air. That might just fizzle out.
Fido, the silly boy. Tries to jump straight into the path of the kick. It is buffered a little bit, so perhaps wasn't prepared for the kick to take place. The mistake there was the ward hop, though, from Kevy. I think he was having a crack, maybe looking to kick Scott towards Kisei.
Yeah.
But the second he smited the big Raptor, level 6 came across from Scott, and I think in Kevy's mind he ward hopped and then figured that was not a good decision. But the mistake had been made already, the ward hop had happened, and so he has to actually expend the kick there to keep himself alive, and nicely done, of course. You know, one other thing here as well, Skimmy, just as Herald gets taken that I noticed, is that Fido's gone for the bone plating in lane. I think that's just a sign that he's afraid of being instantly burst out by the damage that can come across from an Ahri. But with the changes to Ahri, she's so much less focused on hitting the charm and having one big burst. So I think it's just a bit of extra immediate survivability where something like the second wind would provide you with much more sustain from incidental damage that hits you. But I guess he doesn't feel like Ahri has much of that.
The case, Mage there premonition, he wants to be aggressive in lane, utilize that resolve tree to continue to play at this accelerated rate. Big win for them though will be the fact that they picked up this Herald. The Yordle squad can then put in a sizable amount of work with the Tristana, with the Ziggs to then take down those turrets, guaranteed it's not just a plate, but it is significant map pressure.
Well, we've got focus on our screen. Now's as good a time as any to have a look in at top lane. We said that Graves was most likely just going to try and spend as much of the time as he could in lane pushing. It is kind of the prototypical way to play Graves in the first place. You just want to pressure, try and sneak some plates if you can. It just keeps so much freedom for the top side of the map. The issue he could run into, right, is if mid has priority or Scott is on the top side of the map. But he's still at Graves. The difference that we're seeing here, though, is it looks like he's rushing the Eclipse build. So it's not going to be straight into the Hull Breaker. He wants damage.
Be a menace. So much armor penetration can come out later on into the game, and maybe not as survivable, but certainly a one-shot terror. Great buff on the rocket jump too.
Yeah. Again, the charm is nice for stopping a dash, but Scott, very caught.
He certainly is. There's the ignite. Comes up nice and early there from Corporal. Just a devour into a kill.
That was actually really nicely timed from Order. You can tell they're communicating. Spat out into the charm as the charm was midair. So almost picture perfect there by Auto. Nicely picked by Corporal. He deserves all the credit for that one. I think they're going to cop an ult and bottom skimmy, but overall he's going to be fine. And look at the frog. Just staunching. Just alpha.
Just immune to damage, really, isn't it?
Corporal still on that Sigma grind set.
Yeah, I mean, I've got flash, I've got a dive. Doesn't really concern me what you try and throw at me.
We're at 11 minutes, by the way, and we didn't have any crazy flips or anything for the first Herald. It was simply taken in the hands of Scott as well. The question being, where would you place it? I think we can all acknowledge that any kind of Ziggs composition, you're probably placing it in the Ziggs lane, because then he just has the W satchel for lethal on an entire structure almost from full to zero. Bot lane is already on 4 plates, so Herald and a W is all it takes.
Well, here's Scott in the area, wanted to try and do a bit of 1v3 shenanigans, went in for an attempt, and he's going to see if he can try and take down Puma. Could be the case. I
don't really know what we're watching here. Excuse me, that was... I swear Scott was coming bottom to make a play, and then his bot lane both just base. They just dipped out of the situation, and then he still goes for the play? What's happening?
Well, it was interesting, given the state that we come back into that play, and you're seeing, well, there is a bot lane no longer there. Harrison found himself in this position. Story to be continued, and maybe continued once he's back up and alive. Because as far as Order are concerned, that kill gives them pressure to take what will be second Dragon of the game.
Lionel's going to be in the area, throws a Q, confirms the Drake is there, and actually just contributes towards the leashing efforts of it. It's just going to be freely secured. Lionel also going to waste a ward there, unfortunately, just on unfortunate timing. The rest of his team was hovering the Drake area, but again, Scott will be returning to bottom lane. He'll be spotted on a ward, but they shouldn't really be able to stop this with Corporal and Kevy showing their hands in mid lane. Herald already summoned.
It is, so Lemus ready for the satchel charge. Question is, will he be able to use it? It will be connected with, but he may just pay the price by falling down in the process, trading his life for a turret, which is going to be gifted across to Puma. Really is just as easy as that.
Well, it was a whole turret for a kill, but that is still a really valuable kill for the side of Auto, right? They only need to bring a couple of people down. They'll get some plates back themselves, and they'll have so much time where Ziggs isn't on the map. Teleport in hand, actually, to be fair, he might be able to teleport. I'm looking more towards where he wants to go next, though, right? Because natural progression would be Herald 2, top lane, or mid lane. Probably want the Ziggs on the map, but he should just be teleporting to collect what was left from his death in bottom lane first and foremost. And then what do you do with Fido, right? No teleport on your Tristana. Do you plan him in a side lane? Very dangerous for him, but also for anyone who has to deal with him once the Mythic is there.
Certainly is. We have seen what Tristana with Kraken's Lake can achieve. But the 1v1s would be incredibly strong. Those two left to their own devices can certainly run amok here on the map. Gank attempt goes on through as Fido pretends that he is Lee Sin. A flash buster shot, saying that he can do it better, but they can't get the kill.
Yeah, that was Rakan, ult, ignite. You definitely saw everything possible used by the Trist as well. Lived teleports into the play and uses his ultimate, and they don't even get the single kill thereafter. I really feel like if there was one way to summarize what I've seen so far from Kanga, it is that they are just not on the same page. It just doesn't feel like one cohesive team, where I feel like that's the difference between them and Order in this one at the present time. For example, you've got Herald now up and alive. Biopanther is going to rotate, where you've got Fido down bot. No teleport ready, so it is just going to be a free objective, right? All 5 members here to make the play happen. Kanga's best response is to try and get some money from jungle camp.
Yeah, 4 out scraps really, as you highlight. Pro already got in the bot lane, so Fido's just going to crash as many waves in for free as he can. The rest of his team's in the vicinity in the red side jungle, offering protection, but most importantly, vision. Putting a Herald for a few waves, a bit of experience, and a blue Gromp steal. Kevin might just pop his head into top lane and instantly summon this.
And you really want Heralds, I feel like, for any Ziggs composition. You know, it's the one way to really open the map up. And a transaction of a Rift Herald taken for a couple of jungle camps is on paper good, right? Because it's gold for the potential of gold, but Ziggs being a guarantee means it's so much more than just a little bit of potential.
Ooh, good sidestep, but honestly, Pim is still going to hunt for this one. Football jumps in a little bit disorganized, but doesn't really matter. This tongue lash there, because if it is, he might just turn around and kill the Ziggs. It's not going to be enough. As Fido jumps in, finds retribution and punishment. He is the better AD carry, is what he's saying in his head. Gets that kill. Kill confirmed. Still Gale Force up and available, not to be used. Lemus is dead now. Fido, what can he do? He's going to get charmed. And now Scott against the world without an ultimate realizes I can't do much more. It's going to be a double kill for Kisei Zari.
Yeah, that's just nicely rotated by Kisei on the back end of the fight. Still Kanga making the correct moves to try and compensate for the fact that Lemas was very clearly caught in mid lane. He just tried to stay for a little bit too long, right? And got bottlenecked almost, or bottlenecked himself. I'd have to watch it back. He walked himself into a very greedy path. Got punished nicely by Puma, even though he dodged the ultimate. And I can't say from starting it this late, but Lemas almost just gets one-tapped by the damage of Puma. And Scott, rationalizing it all, has Fido nearby. They've got their target in mind. The teleport comes in from the Ahri, and that will completely start to swing the back half of this one. Where it starts off with Order's bottom lane, just trying to make the plays happen. You know, I like this. This speaks towards actually what Biopanther was saying in the interview yesterday, Skimmy. There's nothing to play for on the map right now, so they are just skill checking.
And it worked. Paid off dividends. Here we go again. There is the flash hop wood skip and a jump. That kill confirms that Lionel is down for 15 seconds. Convenient timing as the third dragon has just spawned.
Another Drake. No shot that Kanga want to go for this one. Once again, Fido, you can see teleport not ready now. It's just been used. He's in top lane. Drake non-contest. So it means that in 5 minutes it is a Mountain Soul that Order will be playing for, and Kanga potentially having to defend. See what they choose to do though. Mountain Soul isn't the be-all end-all. The bigger issue is that they are just going to be one-hitting you, actually, more than anything else. So much damage on Order's side.
And just checking with Kisei's itemization, I was curious what he was going to go for. Right? We have seen variations between the Ludens as well as the Everfrost. On this occasion, he is going to go for the Charm. It's just guaranteed CC. He has to play pick. Lived has sustained like you would not believe. The turret ramped up, but one shot just out of range there for Kevy. A TP comes in. Order on the defensive, looking to try and disengage away as Lemus hits the rocket. Kobe.
I think that was completely blind. The only ward in the area was for Order, so completely blind, just expects it to be the blast cone and absolutely gets them. Bio.
They want more though, don't they? They're hungry for blood. Is Kanga so far? Charm goes out. A fail flash from Bio. He's not going anywhere this time, straight to the grave. And Kanga plays two sides of the map, and it was working out big time.
Yeah, Bio trying to use his Q there. Just runs himself out of mana, so not the best buckshot. And then unfortunately the flash afterwards, it goes from bad to worse. Might have just wanted to cop the L King, but unfortunately loses the Summoner spell with it. And now Kanga find themselves a point to fight for once again on the other side of the map. We speak about this being messy from Kanga and the fact that Order do feel like they have control. But still, it is only within 1,000 gold, right? And Lived in this 1v2 just sustains right through the ultimate, the true damage. It is honestly disgusting. So much sustain, and then Lemas comes in to get the kill. So this is actually, winning on both sides of the cross-map play. Big R1 was assumed to be going that way, I'm guessing from just the Wardhop vision that he had, the remnants of it. So this nice predict. and then they win topside. So 2 places at once.
And look what it's done in terms of swinging the gold back. Kept things very close now. We're pretty much dead even. And yes, Order do have that lead when it comes to the Dragons, but Kanga's trade-off has always been soak lanes, push waves, and ultimately get a turret advantage instead. They're going to have a interesting preposition, I suppose, to start discussing what is the next play to look for, because 2.5 minutes and they will have to really put up a contest, a fight, if Dragon Soul's to really be considered.
Oh, hang on. Jeez.
Venus. It's just so squishy. Instant flash away. He wants to stopwatch, but he won't find it. Scott gets kicked away, then pounced upon. Big shield there from the Rakan of all things. Wasn't to be enough. Lionel on the tail end of it's going to get sniped away by this Ari. And Liv rocks up to the show, but realizes, no, my team is already gone.
And again, Order just say, listen, I feel like it's getting a little bit too close to an even game. Let's just pop off real quick. They're going to go straight to the Baron. Kanga have already decided not to fight this one. You can see pings towards the bot lane in a turret. So off they go. Just yet again, nice picks from the Order squad. When it comes to crunch, they step up and get it done. Limit test between objectives, but when an objective is on the map, back to crisp League of Legends.
It certainly is. Order pick up the Baron right on the spawn. 20 minutes in, and well, it's looking pretty good for them now. If it was getting close, if it was getting dicey, then Fighter says we're going to keep it close. Great, Gale force away, and a flash on his head with a buster shot, kill confirm. Big bounty, a huge shutdown here.
And just real quick, looking at Kisei's items, you know what? We'll hold that. We'll watch what happens at the start of this fight as well. Red, white, don't fight, Skimmy, those are the rules. Scott steps up, they try and play the 2v3 game, but Puma says it doesn't matter. You want a Xin ult? It doesn't matter, I've got short-range weapons. And he is in short range getting it done. Good little kick away from Kevy, but the bulk of this is what feels like Kanga just trying to push a wave in and help reset. They just open the gates. Maybe you don't expect Puma to skill check you in that situation, but my man's has still got summoner spells. Way too strong to say no to that.
Very strong. Very strong. 3 turrets to 1. 2 very different approaches to how to want to try and play out this game. Kanga are certainly on the cusp of causing a bit of an upset here, but Order don't want it to get as dicey as it has been. Here is Bio pushing in the wave, utilizing that Baron buff. They know that Kanga would have to be drawn in to try and contest that Dragon Soul in 30 seconds. They're going to get as much work as they can get done here with Fido waiting in the wings. Fully stacking up an explosive shot down to half, but realizes, hang on a minute, there's 4 people here. I have no team. My team is locked in mid lane. He might just die for free as a result of this one.
I think that's actually just a little bit disrespectful there by Fido. If he doesn't have flash, you've used your combo, you've shown yourself, and you don't know where the rest of them are, and you know that your team's not there. Even if that is a more protected place than perhaps the mid lane outer turret, you've got to respect way more than that. The turret's not yours to stand at as long as they're not showing. So he just gets flashed on and immediately dies. Well played again by Order. Just picking on the wounds that exist, and Scott already half health.
Soliers dashes out of range for that Abyssal dive, then jumps across the wall with the flash again, tries to steal the Drake. It's not going to be enough. Order, cool, calm, and collected. Get the kill, get the soul, get it all.
And it just starts to become so easy for Order. They get to cruise, right? You're just seeing skill checks left, right, and center. Anywhere Puma goes right now is a 1v1. For Fido as well, I'm really unfamiliar with what like an optimal Tristana build would be. But he's opted towards what is a very cheap item spike in my mind here as well, right? I think it's like 2,500 gold for the full Zeal item. And Grievous Wounds that comes with it with a bit of AD. That's not straight into like, you know, Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster. You're not going lethality. You're not capping out in your raw DPS. Kisei finally wins his 1v1.
I was watching that.
And it means with the Last Whisper third, he'll still have a lot of crit and can build into whatever he'd like next. But cheaper items when you're the fed person on the team doesn't always translate to the best item. But again, I don't know everything about the Trist build.
Some cheap item spike either way to try and put pressure on this map. Then we're going to jump in and just keep him honest, I guess, really. Full HP. Here's a Gale Force. How'd you like that?
Have you considered this?
Try keen for it. The angles weren't too advantageous for him.
Look at Kisei.
Kisei, though, is another story entirely. He has no flash, but he does have an ultimate. on vision. I think I have to be fully aware of this one.
Ziggs ulted though, Skimmy, so the wave does get instantly cleared. Cannon will follow up. Limas, no mana, has teleport. Could have considered during the 15 seconds that he's going to mindlessly jiggle at the turret to have based for mana. but alas, he has not. Feels like this turret is inevitably just going to fall. No prio anywhere on the map bot side, right? So it's so difficult. And again, mid lane outer turret, if you can hold that, it's invaluable. But you've lost 2 turrets bottom, so you do not own your own red side jungle.
Yeah.
And Fido's playing so actively away from the strength point on the map for order.
Hold that for a second though, because Lionel's keen to fight. He flashes in, he's missed it. Shrelliz was there. A grand entrance is not enough to get the fight started on Kanga's terms. Live now. Cops a bit of a beating from this Lee Sin. Finds himself wounded as a result as well. And just frustration really for Kanga. They're unable to try and counteract, or at least answer, match, do anything.
I feel like Kisa goes through the base at this point.
Oh, he's going to turn around. He wants to go for the 1v4. What can he find with the Swamp with a rocket on his head? He says, team, I'm going to pay the price. I'm buying space.
He's created a lot of space, I am not going to lie. You've got mid lane in a turret that falls, top lane about to suffer perhaps the same casualty. Ziggs ultimate not going to be available to stop this one from going down either, so yes, the mid laner of Order dies. I feel like we're saying that a lot the past couple of days. However, it is still a net gain from Order overall. They're playing the map well. And I will say, I am not sure if Limas wants to stay on no mana or not, but that fight that happens in mid lane where Kanga try and force it, he was still just limping around with 5% mana.
Not the place you want to be, for sure, especially as an AP carry, where his damage contribution is going to be invaluable. Soul Source, when Lived us off on split pushing duties. 5k gold lead now for the side of Order. Second Baron spawning in 10 seconds, and Elder Drake to consider in 2 minutes. I guess the question now becomes for Kanga. When do they find their moment to fight? Is it now, or is it in 2 minutes' time?
I mean, if it's not now, Skimmy, does it just become never, right? Because Baron gives so much map control that to actually get to anywhere near the Elder Dragon could be impossible. The fact that they're separated by 2 minutes, I do think makes this easier for Kanga to kind of take the desperate measure of a fight. Alternatively, if you can hold off the Baron for 2 minutes, then you have an objective to trade for. That's something that'll be high in their mind as a teleport is coming in. Lived in so much trouble.
He is. He really is, isn't he? He's running the opposite way, and that's just going to be a teleporting. Kisse, can he try and find anything in this trade of padding? Everfrost, stun. Just shredded by this very aggressive, damage-heavy Graves.
I'm going to be hit here, but teleports are going to come through. There's just so many. Lionel's
looking for it. He's popped the quickness nice and early, but they're onto a time Kinch of all targets. Not probably what you're after. Scott's going to jump in, swing around with the Gore Drinker and try and sustain himself in this team fight, but he's just dead. Corporal still soaking and surviving, almost taunting them with a good satchel charge, but it won't prevent the Sonic Wave. We've even got ourselves a preemptive ace popping up because it was just so easy for Order.
They're just having fun with them now. You find Lived in the side lane, and who'd have thought suddenly that is a win condition for any team that plays against Kanga. They'll take him down. Kanga try to get towards the Baron, but they just don't have enough damage to get it done quickly. Trist has 3 items, but none of them are really designed for Baron and health shredding. And Ziggs, I believe there is a Leandries, and there's some damage, but they're just not going to get it done in time. Where an Ari and a Lee Sin are sprinting up. So you can see it's at half health by the time this fight breaks out. Kanga say enough's enough. But they go onto a Tahm Kench. Scott's already low health. And while he's untargetable for a second there from Humor, it's not going to stop Humor from being unleashed with all of the chakrams that a man could dream of. Super simple stuff here from Order as the reinforcements finally get into the mix.
Very tough for them to really wrangle back any kind of control of this game. As you saw, they were trading turrets aggressively in the early phases for those dragons, but as soon as those turrets started to get matched and traded back, Order have been able to rotate and do whatever they like on this map. That is a big bomb. Multiple members burning, nobody low enough, but Scott's going to try. Kevy has a GA, not going to get popped just yet. The shooting is dead. The Abyssal Dive is cancelled. A Buster Shot away to give him a bit of breathing room, but still hungry Kangaroos on the pounce, looking to take them down. Kisse jumping in, unspotted and unchecked. sitting on a triple kill so far, and he might be looking for the Panther. He's got himself a quadra. No, it's going to be stolen. It's another ace back-to-back. Desiree out of control.
Yeah, look, it may not be a pentakill, but it is still a 10-3 RE just rampaging through the back lines of Kanga. See, that was a solid fight from them in terms of how they started it, you know, but they are already 10,000 gold down, so that was going to be a too little too late type of situation. And now the game just goes from bad to over in a heartbeat.
And it certainly does. 10 wins now for the side of Order, locked into playoffs, now playing for the best chance possible for seeding above all else. Commiserations actually going towards Kanga there, trying something different. Wasn't enough to cause an upset here today, and I suppose really more than anything, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I mean, clean performance in the end by Order. I mean, the funny thing about Order is, and they've always done this actually, no matter who's in the roster now that I think about it, but there's a lot of just limit testing, right? Like learning their absolute limits, playing new champions, doing new things. Kisei's tried to 1v1 everyone. Puma today was the exact same, right?
Yeah.
Step up in front of him is just Gale forcing forwards. He wants to have a crack at it. So they weren't playing perfect League of Legends, but they weren't intending to. Just like what Bio said yesterday, when an objective is up, they play for the objective, but otherwise they are trying to 1v1 everyone.
And they certainly had their hands full there, didn't they, Mac? They were showcasing us on multiple occasions that we are looking for kills. We are trying to... Oh, you're still drinking that one, mate. What has it been, like 30 minutes?
Oh, I didn't... Didn't you just go into the game?
True. Yeah, it was quite quick. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, that was the same sip. Do you guys?
The same
Anyway,
sip, you reckon?
Nah, it wasn't that quick. I was just... I got you all. You thought I was, you know, frozen in stone for 5 minutes or so. 23, 28... I don't know, it was like a half-hour game, honestly. It was a good affair. Look, Kanga, I feel like they showed what they are capable of. Unfortunately, Order, you know, the skill difference in pretty much every role was just there. You know, it exists. And I can hear, actually, Direwolves fans cheering at the moment because half of the prophecy has already unfolded. So even if they don't get that win today, look, if Kanga lose, if we see Mammoth lose later, then Direwolves will be locking in that 5th position in the playoffs. So, you know, I'm sure they're going to be happy with that. But let's break down the game, of course. Kanga, there was, you know, glimpses of hope. You know, they managed to get first blood, which was something as well. And you can see that there are some individuals on the team that are excelling, but then there's individuals on the team that are just seem to have not improved a whole lot throughout the split, whereas Order, you know, you can see that chemistry working out over time. I feel like even in terms of the draft, like I kind of like what Order went with, but I don't know. It was like the way they executed was kind of odd until the end game where they were sort of grouped up. It was just a really, really odd game. You know, it was messy, wasn't it?
Yeah, messy is definitely one way to explain it. I feel like I would say that only has his hands full now, right? Coming into the coaching role with what happened in this game, because there's definitely a lot of things that I would say were winnable from this. They had leads in the right places, right? There was a serious amount of work being done by Fido. Scott got the early ganks off. Bot lane just wasn't going particularly well. It was mostly stable. And then they just, I mean, fumbled the Herald, got caught time after time. The Drake fight wasn't necessary. The execution was all kinds of wrong on that fight as well.
Yeah.
And then Lived constantly getting caught in side lanes while behind. There's so much to address there that Order just were a little bit too strong with, but still potential from Kanga is the takeaway.
Yeah, it was one of those games where it was kind of all over the place, but Order came out the victor, right? And also, shout out to Drac for giving us that bit of info. When he said, he came into the interview, it sounded aggressive the way he's like, I just want to clear something up here. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And he's like, bloody only, you know, he's got into this position now. That's what's going down. And I was like, all right, whoa, chill, bro. Chill. Like,
because you know people are gonna be looking at that
like
one right from the sidelines saying, "Oh, where's Only? He's been benched. What's happened? Yada yada." So I think it's always good, valid information, right? To sort of have that cleared up. You've got it on statement on file, and there's no confusion really, more so than anything.
I was just waiting for you to like bite and be like, "What? What's up, huh?" And, like bite back. Anyway, someone that loves a good couple of fisticuffs, of course, is Kitty. So let's bring her in. Let's see who she's been, you know, doing these ones, sparring with on the side lanes before, of course, coming in for this post-game.
Why am I known for like the person that wears the boxing gloves now? I'm really nice in real life, I swear. I never fight anyone.
What do you mean?
Just to
How'd
clear
you
my
get
name.
to top 10 challenger if you're bloody not fighting all the time? Like, what's the secret then?
I can't tell you the secret, Mac. Or if I tell you the secret, everyone's going to get to top 10 and I have more competition. But someone I believe is top 10 in the ladder right now is Kevy, so let's bring him in for the interview. Well, Kevy, I just need to make sure. Are you top 10 in the ladder right now?
Yep.
Okay, well, good to have two really good League players having an interview for tonight. But Kevy, let's talk about the game you just played. So we just saw the return of Kevy's Lee Sin tonight, being known as the mechanical jungler of Order. Which jungle is the most fun to verse in these LCO stage games?
Like player or champ?
Player.
Probably Balcon, because he like is the most aggressive. You know, he'll like just contest everything, like regardless of prio or anything. So, yeah.
Well, if he contests everything, don't you have to call your laners to help you? Is this just laner diff or mechanical diff?
I don't know, like he's like the main one that would like challenge you mechanically, I guess. But yeah, like jungle diff is just lane diff, so.
Jungle diff is lane diff. You heard it from here, guys. But let's talk about your matchup we just saw. So the Lee Sin vs Xin Zhao matchup has been picked multiple times in this patch. Tell me a little bit about the matchup and how it plays out.
Honestly, like I just think Lee Sin offers like a really good mid 2v2, but Xin obviously is like better at skirmishing and stuff. I think Lee is just more versatile and takes like more mechanics, whereas like Xin is just like so linear and like so telegraphed, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of him.
Not the biggest fan because we haven't actually seen a game of Xin Zhao from you, but that's okay. You guys are currently tied for third for PGG. They haven't played their game yet, but who do you think is the strongest player on PGG coming into playoffs?
Probably Balcon, I would say. He just carries their team.
Well, don't make Balcon angry and don't make Kevy angry, but I'm sure you're quite happy. Well, congrats on the win once again and have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
I've never seen someone sound so unhappy about a victory.
He's just a very quiet man, isn't he?
He's just one emotion. Every interview, all the time. Actually, he's chuckled a couple of times. I know there's a funny Kevy down deep. We got to find him more often than not. Now, we have to talk about the Dare MVP. And for this game, it was Corporal. So, doing a very good job there and helping out Puma make it work, as well as helping out everywhere, because he was all over the place, wasn't he, Ray?
He was absolutely everywhere. I mean, honestly, most of Order was everywhere, to be frank, Mac. That was one of those games that just felt like a constant circle of everyone just going around the entire map looking for solo bolos. Literally everywhere, was it not?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It was absolutely crazy today on the Rift, but it was pretty crazy on Twitter. We've had a whole lot of bloody submissions from the fans, so let's see what you've all been working on, what you want to know, because of course we've got the Brains Trust here. Which team has the best mascots? Gimme, go.
Which team is the best mascot? I like the Mammoth one. I do actually quite like that new Mammoth logo.
Okay, but is it a mascot?
Yeah, what is a mascot?
Isn't it
surely-
Maddie the Mammoth?
Yeah,
Like, does that
surely they've
exist?
got a mascot rocking up at LAN, right?
Does every team have one?
I don't think any has one, so hopefully we can figure that one out once LAN's returned and
Carbon is the
make
best
some up,
ESL
maybe.
mascot.
Yes, that is true. Now let's jump on into the next question. Let's see who it is. It's Laura. If you could have one champion ability IRL, what would it be? Kitty, go.
Zillionol, because once you die, you go back to full health, and who knows what full health looks like in human years.
Very true.
That's
But
deep.
you're the same level, so you'd be the same age. And would you be... I'm seeing some faults here, Kitty.
I guess you just be a
unfortunately.
daredevil, right? You do all the wild things in life, like get bitten by a poisonous spider and all the rest of it, and be like, oh, res lol.
But make sure your cooldown's up.
True.
Or you could be in trouble. You could be in hot water. Now, you guys want to follow or even, add to the conversation at LCO. Go over there. Follow the Twitter. Make sure you don't miss any of the good content coming out. Make sure you don't miss the questions, what we want from you, from the fans, and you can get up here on stream. Sorry, I got one for that one. And
That was too good.
not only that, but you can tell me not to hit my microphone as well. So make sure you follow Twitter, hashtag LCO to be involved in that conversation. If you want to just, put a tweet up and it be something to do with what's going on here on the stream. But, of course, we've got a second game to get to. That's going to be Peace and Direwolves coming up just after the break. So don't go too far. Grab yourself a dare. Get hydrated. We'll see you after this.
If it is, he might just turn around and kill the Ziggs. Not only enough. As Fido jumps in, finds retribution and punishment. He is the better AD carry, is what he's saying in his head. Gets that kill. Kill confirmed. Still Gale force up and available, not to be used. Lemus is dead now. Fido, what can he do? He's going to get charmed. And now Scott against the world without an ultimate for Kevy. A TP comes in, order on the defensive, looking to try and disengage away as Lemus hits the rocket. Kobe